Hey guys, I'm Izzuddin Osman. You've probably heard of the VLOOKUP function while using Excel. The VLOOKUP function is one of the most popular functions in Excel. In this tutorial, we are going to learn this VLOOKUP function in details and understanding how to apply this function by looking at some examples or scenarios. Let's say you have this table filled with all of this data, including the quotation number, the company name, the document date, person in charge, email, the quotation amount, and remarks. And you will also have this particular table listing all of these quotation numbers scattered, listed here, not in sequence, of course. So this particular quotation number is not in sequence. So what will you do right now is to extract or to take out this particular quotation amount data here and try to match with all of this quotation number respective to its particular quotation number. Like you can see here, quotation number QVTH19128 will have a quotation amount of 32,560. So we want to actually look up this particular data here and match it with this particular quotation number by using the VLOOKUP function. So how to use this particular VLOOKUP function, how to apply this particular formula. So you have to click in this particular cell first because you want to type in the particular function here. So you can start typing the function by typing in the equal symbol, and then you type the VLOOKUP function itself with an open bracket and click this particular cell which represents the lookup value or the value you want to look up to onto the other table. So I will click this particular cell to represent my lookup value. So I will click here and type in comma. So when you type in comma, the syntax or the VLOOKUP function will require you to select the table array, which is the other table, the quotation list table on the other worksheet on sheet number 1. So I'll click this particular sheet number 1 first, and I will select all of this table by clicking and dragging the header column of this table, which is this particular alphabet A here that represents the header column of this table. So I will click here and drag until the end. Notice when I click and drag this particular header columns, right, it will indicate the number of columns which I have selected. So if I click and drag until the company name, it will prompt here 2C, as in the second column. If I click and drag to the other column, which is the document date column, it will prompt to as 3C, or the third column. Person in charge is 4C. Email is 5C. Quotation amount is 6C, or 6 column. And if I click and drag to select the remarks column, it will indicate here as 7C, or the 7th column. Okay, so I have already selected all of these columns, which is all of this table, and then I will proceed by typing comma. So when I type comma, right, this particular VLOOKUP function will require me to enter the index column number. So if I want the quotation amount data here from this particular header column, so I will enter number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, the 6th column. So I will enter here 6, comma. When I type in the comma symbol, this particular VLOOKUP function will ask me to enter whether I want an exact match or approximate match. If I want the exact match value, I will enter here as 0. If I want the value to be an approximation, I will enter here number 1. So I want this particular VLOOKUP to look up a value which is identical or which is accurately matched with my particular data. So I will enter 0 to have an exact match of this particular data. So I'll type 0 and press enter now. So you can see this particular quotation number will look up this particular quotation amount by using the VLOOKUP function. So you can double check by going back to the quotation list table. So you can see here, this one is QVTH19128, right? With an quotation amount of 32,560. So I will go back to sheet number 1 to double check. So when I go to 128 here, so I can see the quotation amount is matched using the VLOOKUP function. So let's say if I want to drag this formula of this function to its all the respective rows here, so I can just take my mouse and put it over here until I can see the small black arrow appears in my mouse, on my mouse. So I click and drag until to the bottom of this table. So I'll have all the respective values corresponding to the quotation number indicated in this list. So let's say I want to match the remarks data respective to the quotation number over here. So you bear in mind the remarks column data is sitting on column number 7. So you have to repeat the steps again. If you want to enter the VLOOKUP function, you must start by typing the equal symbol with the VLOOKUP function with an open bracket. When you type in the open bracket here, you can see this particular VLOOKUP function, it is asking the lookup value, which is this. So I'm going to click this because this is the lookup value, which I want to match with onto the other table. So I'm going to click this particular cell, and the cell reference will be indicated here. So I'll type, the next step is I have to type in with the comma symbol. And when I type in the comma symbol, the VLOOKUP function will actually ask me to select the table array or the quotation list table, which is located on sheet number 1. So I'm going to click sheet number 1 right now. Click sheet number 1, and I'm going to select all of this table right now by clicking and dragging directly onto the header column here. So I'm going to click directly on this alphabet A here, click and drag until to the remarks column here, which indicated here as 7C, and then I release my mouse key and I proceed in typing again with a comma. So when you type a comma, this particular VLOOKUP function will ask us to enter the column index number. So the column index number for the remarks column header here is column number 7. So I will enter 7 here. Now, again, I will press again with a comma. So when I enter this comma symbol, right, this VLOOKUP function will ask me either, it will give me an option for me to select either if I want an approximate match lookup or an exact match lookup. So I want it to be definite and accurate, so I will choose 0 as an exact match. If you want an approximation of VLOOKUP, you can just type 1 for true approximate match. But in this case, I will type 0 for exact match. So I'll type 0 and press enter. So you can see this quotation, right? QVTH19128 with the quotation amount of 32,560 is to quote the PC desktop items stated on the remarks. So you can double check here by going here. So you can see at this particular quotation number, all right, quoted to this company WDX on 20th August, quoted to this person, which is Tevin Williams. Quoted amount is 32,560, and it is quoted for PC desktop items on this particular quotation. So it is an exact match, so you can double check here. So if you want to copy all this particular formula to all of these respective rows, you can just take your mouse, put it over here Wait until the small black arrow appears and click and drag until you reach to the bottom of this particular table. So let's say you want to find and match or look up the document date, right? And match it with the quotation number here. Alright, you can repeat the VLOOKUP steps again. Okay, so you can just type in the equal symbol, type in the function of VLOOKUP, type in the bracket symbol, and the VLOOKUP function will actually ask us to select the value which you want to look up, which is this. In this scenario, we are still using this particular cell, this particular quotation number, which is QVTH19128. So I'm going to click this particular cell now. Alright, followed by the comma symbol. So when I type in the comma symbol, this particular VLOOKUP function will ask me to select the table array or the quotation list table. So I'm going to click this sheet number 1 first and select this whole table over here by clicking on the column header here, by clicking on the alphabet A here, click and drag until I reach to the end, which is the remarks column, and release my mouse key. Alright, you can see based on this table, the document date header data is sitting on column number 3. So you can just type in comma and type in number 3 as the column index number and type in comma 0 for an exact match of the VLOOKUP, and then press enter. So you can see the corresponding dates is matched with the quotation number indicated here. So if you want to copy all of this document dates respective to its quotation number, you can just click this particular cell and wait until the small black arrow appears here, click and drag until you reach to the bottom. So I hope this particular tutorial can benefit all of you in understanding the VLOOKUP function. Take care.